Hey guys! So today I have my update for my Pan Those eyeshadows. I have no clue what update we're on. But yeah, I'm just gonna hop straight into it. So the first palette I'm going to talk about is the Reva Pooches by I Heart Revolution. I have two shades in this. I'm going to try and cover one. We'll cover that one. So I'll start with the shade. I'm going to get this all over my hand. I'm going to start with the shade, oh gosh, Cocoa, which is down here. Let me try and do a close-up. Can you see that? So I've used this one 7 times, mostly through experimenting with cool tones, because I don't really use cool tones. There is quite a decent dip in this. I think I'm going to do close-ups, but I think I'm actually going to do close-up videos because my close-up pictures are horrendous. So I'm going to start doing close-up videos because I feel like I can show the pan a little bit better. So I'm going to insert those instead of pictures. Let me know what you think in the comments. But yes, I'm going to swatch this shade so it's staying in because I have not hit pan yet. I have only used it 7 times. This month I've mostly done experimenting. Like, I haven't actually worn this shade as like a look in the day much. I mostly experiment with, you know, just doing my makeup before I have a shower or something like that. But I do really like this shade. I still really struggle with cool tones. That's why I've used it so many times, just because I've really been trying to figure it out, and so far not the best. It always just looks a bit muddy. I have been mixing it with Bruno, which is in this palette, and then there's another shade, like a really pretty silver shade. I can't remember the palette, but I've been using that a fair little bit, so I might try and hit pan on this, to be honest, just because I am using it a fair little bit, because I'm gonna figure it out. Like, it looks, the shade suits me, because when I first put it on I'm really happy. It's just, it's definitely like user error. I just don't really know how to pair cool tones. Well, there's the obvious pair it with other cool tones, but you know. Anyway, the next shade in this palette is the shade Biscuit. So this one has quite a decent dip. I don't know how well you'll be able to see that. I will insert clips of the close-ups of the shadows, and I'm also going to swatch this for you. I really like Revolution shadows. That is something I have rediscovered in having these two shades. They're just really nice, and they're so cheap. Like, I think this palette was £10 maybe. It was really cheap. And there's a swap. So I do really like it. It's just such an easy one to use. The most common way I've been using this is eyeliner. I like to just use brown shades as eyeliner because I do colourful eyeshadow more often than I do neutrals. So the most common way I use this is just an eyeliner, like a smoky eyeliner. But I will use it as a transition shade and such. And I've even tried it sort of all over the lid, blended out, and then I deepened it with the NYX shade that I also have in this project. So yes, that's all the updates for this one. Oh, I haven't given you, so Biscuit I have also used 7 times. So since I have just spoken about it, I will go into the NYX palette now. So this is the NYX Ultimate Shadow Palette in Warm Neutrals. So I'm not a massive, like, honestly, I'm not someone for neutral eyeshadows. Like, it's just not a bit of me, to be honest. I'm going to do a close-up. So it's this shade here. I don't know how, because I do think that this camera might blur slightly. I don't know how to take it off. I'll have to have a little figure out. There is mostly just sort of scuff marks. Oh, I'm going to swatch this as well. How many times have I used this? So I've used this one 5 times. Mostly with that brown shade, to be honest, because I layer them, whether that's putting biscuits all over my eyelid and then going in with this NYX shade, or well, I do that in either an all over the lid or as an eyeliner. But I do really like this shade. The quality of these shades are perfectly fine, like nothing to complain about in terms of that. They are very hard pressed, and I think this will take so long to hit pan. I have 10 more uses until I do hit pan. That's not going to happen. I definitely foresee this being one that I just roll out, to be honest. I've already had this in and I must have used it the 15 times, and it's actually insane how little progress there is. And it's a very wintry shade. I don't see myself using it, so I'm just going to get through the 10 uses, probably kind of slowly, to be honest, and then we'll hopefully roll something a little bit better, a bit seasonal in. So next up is from the Spectrum palette. This is the by Profusion Spectrum palette, 10 shades Pro Pigment palette, and I rolled in the shade called Lucky. I have made such a huge mess in this palette. Oh, there we go. So this shade I've used 5 times. I will again swatch it. It has, like, as I'm swatching it, like, it feels gritty. Does anyone know about, like, gritty eyeshadows? Is that a thing? And if so, is it fine to use? I don't know. Does it? I don't know. I don't know what that means. But there's the swatch. So it is quite a sheer sort of shade. I have got it on my inner corners today. I saw this look on Instagram and it was just like purple and green. It was more of like a lilac, sort of lilac purple, like a pastel. But I don't have pastel purple, so I just went for a regular one. I actually used a bit of this one here. And then just this green, and I mixed in some other greens just because this one was way too sheer for the inner corner. And it was just sticking to my very inner corner where it's like my eye. So it was just like clumping. It looked horrible. Anyway, so I've kind of had to work with it, and I do like this shade. I'm quite happy to use it. It's always just sort of a base green just because it is quite sheer, but I am definitely eager to roll in a couple of these other shades, to be honest. And the only reason I say that is because after using this purple, the quality of this purple was horrendous. It was so patchy. It blended to nothing. Kind of just like looked stained, like, you know, when you had like pink eyeshadow on it stains, it just kind of looked like that. And this green isn't the best, to be honest. So far I'm not loving this palette. I don't think the quality of it is the best. For the price I paid, I'm not so mad at it. And as sort of like a base colour, it's okay. It just needs a lot of working with, and I think there's definitely better colourful eyeshadows out there. So next up is by Bang Beauty. This is the Warm Neutrals palette. I used this shade 6 times and I did hit pan, as you can see. So this was such an easy to use shade. 19 times total, I think, if my maths is correct. I do really like this. I'm going to swatch it on the other hand because this one is rolling out. It is a nice shade. It's very peachy. It was very seasonal in terms of a transition shade. I also did wear this quite a lot on its own. It's just such a nice shade, to be honest. I'm really, really happy with using it, and I've hit pan now, which is always nice. So that does mean I am going to be rolling something new in its place, which I will do now off camera, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've randomized my shade and I got the e.l.f. palette. This is a relatively new palette to me, like a couple of months, and I have only used it the once. I did actually film it, but I don't think it ever went on my channel. But I got this shade here. So this is the Hot Jalapeno palette. I got it because I love greens. So I'm just gonna do a swatch of that green. The shadow quality of these, obviously I have only used this one once, but I have used the mint ones as well, which I really liked. It's really good quality. So it's that dark shade there. I'm really happy to use this. I don't know how well it's gonna go. I don't know if it's super seasonal. None of these shades really are, but I can pair it with that green for sure, use them together. So I really love these little palettes as well, and they're so small and so like curated. Like I think a palette can be good because it's not curated, and it like you come to it and you have to think of ideas and all that, and it, you know, helps with your creativity. Yeah. Or you can come to these palettes where it's just like easy, you come to it, you can think of looks are so easy to think of with this because the selection of shades go together. It's kind of thought out before you even get to it, and I really like that. So yes, happy to have this little palette to work on. And that is everything for the update. I am going to do my little close-up clips and insert those just so I can get better quality updates, because I feel like all of my pictures don't look like, you can't see the pan changing. So I'm going to do some videos because I feel like you will with that. So in terms of goals for next month, I actually think I'm going to set myself the goal of trying to finish this shade. It looks so close, and I feel like we're in the spring. I'm just gonna, at the start of spring, I'm just gonna go super spring with my makeup and experiment. I'm gonna try and experiment with this palette as a whole, because I could see this being a declutter if the other shades perform as poorly as the two that I've tried. Well, I've tried others, like I've tried this one for example, and I didn't find that very, sorry, I can't see. This one for example, and this one, and they're just not very good. They're very sheer but patchy. Like sheer's fine, but don't be patchy. So yes, I'm gonna give myself the goal of trying to get some use on this, solidify my thoughts, and I'll check back in next month and let you know the update. So let me know down in the comments any colour combos. You're always really good at giving me fun colour combos to work with, and what you think of my colours. Yeah, any suggestions, because I don't know. But I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.